At first, beliefs feel like guidance. They offer clarity, direction, and certainty in a world that often feels unpredictable. They tell you who you are, how the world works, and what to expect from others. But over time, something subtle happens. The beliefs that once helped you navigate reality begin to define the limits of it. This is where beliefs stop being tools and start becoming cages. A belief system is not just a collection of ideas, it is an internal framework that filters perception, governs behavior, and quietly decides which possibilities are allowed to exist in your mind. Once this framework is in place, the brain treats it as reality itself, not as an interpretation of reality. And that distinction changes everything. When a belief becomes part of a system, it no longer operates alone. Each belief reinforces the others. Together, they form a closed loop of logic that explains away contradictions and protects itself from disruption. Any information that fits the system is accepted automatically. Any information that threatens it is dismissed, ignored, or reinterpreted. This is how psychological prisons are built, without walls, without locks, and without the person inside realizing they are confined. One of the most powerful aspects of belief systems is that they feel self-chosen. People often say, "This is just how I see the world," without realizing how heavily that view was shaped by upbringing, culture, authority figures, repeated messaging, and emotional conditioning. The belief system feels personal, even when it was inherited or absorbed unconsciously. And because it feels personal, questioning it feels dangerous. Consider a simple, everyday example. Imagine someone who believes that success only comes from extreme struggle. They grew up hearing that nothing good comes easily, that rest is laziness, and that suffering is proof of worth. Over time, this belief becomes a system. They work relentlessly, ignore burnout, and feel guilty when they slow down. Now imagine they encounter evidence that challenges this belief. People who succeed sustainably, who value balance, who thrive without constant exhaustion. Instead of curiosity, the reaction is discomfort, even resentment. Why? Because accepting that alternative would mean confronting years of unnecessary suffering. It would mean admitting that pain wasn't required, that sacrifice wasn't always meaningful. The belief system protects them from that realization by labeling the alternative as unrealistic, weak, or irresponsible. The prison remains intact. Belief systems also restrict identity. They define not just what you think, but who you believe you are allowed to be. When someone says, "That's just not me," they are often describing the boundaries of their belief system, not an objective truth about their capabilities. Over time, the brain stops exploring beyond those boundaries. Curiosity narrows. Possibility shrinks. The mind trades freedom for familiarity. Another key feature of psychological prisons is predictability. The brain prefers a painful certainty over an uncertain freedom. A limiting belief may cause suffering, but it also makes the world predictable. And predictability feels safe. This is why people often remain inside belief systems that hurt them. The system explains their pain. It gives it structure. Leaving the system would mean facing the unknown without a map. Belief systems are especially powerful when they are shared. Social reinforcement strengthens the prison. When everyone around you believes the same things, questioning the system risks isolation. The brain, wired for belonging, often chooses conformity over truth. And so the walls grow thicker. The most dangerous belief systems are the ones that disguise themselves as reality. They don't say, "This is what you believe." They say, "This is how things are." Once a belief system reaches that level, it becomes nearly invisible. You don't feel trapped because you can't see the bars. The first step toward freedom is not rebellion, it is awareness. Seeing beliefs as constructions rather than facts loosens their grip. Not all beliefs need to be destroyed. Some need to be updated. Others need to be questioned gently, without threat. Freedom does not come from having no beliefs. It comes from knowing that beliefs are adjustable. Once you recognize the prison, the door doesn't open instantly, but it becomes visible. And visibility is the beginning of choice. In the next episodes, we'll move deeper into how the subconscious absorbs these systems, why logic alone cannot dismantle them, and how the mind can be reconditioned without losing its sense of safety. Because the goal is not to escape the mind, it's to reclaim it.